I'm Tony Gugliotta at the Bell Center in Montreal for Game 4 between the Canadiens and Bruins. We'll have full highlights and reaction coming up later in sports. They were the only team in the nation to beat Boston University twice this season, but can they do it one more time? NHL Bench is where you can find Versus hockey reporter Bob Harwood these days. Many of you remember he got his start at Channel 3. Middlebury, of course, hosting the Prime Link this year. It's entering into its second decade. What does the tournament mean to college hockey in this region? Again, 3 Canadiens forwards being covered by only 2 defensemen. Patrice Bergeron needs to come down as the center and help. And the Bruins were not shy about voicing their displeasure for the call. Everywhere you look this weekend, there are national championship contenders. All 4 participants in this year's Prime Link ranked in the national top 10. The tourney getting underway this afternoon with number 3 Plattsburgh taking on 9th ranked Middlebury. We'll pick it up in the first period. Middlebury on the power play. The shot will come from freshman Chris Steele at the point. It's off a Plattsburgh defender and in. 1-0 Panthers. Plattsburgh answers later in the period. Phil Farrow with the feed out front to Eric Sadum. He chips it over the shoulder of John Janczek to tie the game at 1. Second period, Plattsburgh on the power play, and they operate it to perfection. All 5 players touch the puck before it's put away by Dan Slias's nice goal. Cardinals lead 2-1. To the third now, Plattsburgh's Patrick Jobe rushing up the left wing side. He puts it on net from behind the goal line. It goes in, his 3rd of the year. The Cardinals win 3-1 and advance to take on the winner of the 7 o'clock matchup between Norwich and Wisconsin Stout in tomorrow's title game. And we're so graciously joined right now by Norwich head coach Mike McShane. Just a few minutes before your team takes the ice, but Coach, first of all, we got to talk about this first game. Did you get to see it, and what did you see?
I see about half the game, and I thought it was a very well-played game, Tony. It was up and down. Both.
The road team has been the winner in 7 of the last 9 Game 7s played around the NHL. So tell your history book to shut up.
Nesson commentator Jack Edwards recalling history to set the scene of this epic matchup of old-time rivals. And it was the Bruins answering the call and setting the scene early with 3 goals to take a prompt 3-0 lead in the first period.
Zdeno Chara's drive, save late and juicy rebound, Ryder shot, scores! Wyman centering pass, scores! Milan Lucic, 2-0 Bruins! A break for Lucic on the off wing, the shot, scores! 3-0 Bruins! Topher Lucic, they've got Philly on the run!
After scoring his 2nd goal of the game, Milan Lucic gave the Bruins a sense of confidence, but one that was eerily similar to the comfort level they felt after taking a 3-0 lead in the series.
You feel like you have a grasp or a chokehold on the game, and for us to even let them get back in the game, it's like just in shock. Like,
you get a lead like that, you hope that you don't sit back and you have a killer instinct, but it didn't happen.
Much like the back half of this series, the Flyers take advantage of Boston's lack of killer instinct and land the next punch. Former University of New Hampshire star James Van Riemsdyk scores his first of the playoffs to make it a 2-goal game after 1.
It's exciting to get the monkey off the back there. I've been a little bit snake bitten, but, it was exciting to get a goal in this game.
The second period belonged to Philly. 2 more goals, and in an exact replica of the series to this point, the game is tied at 3.
If I were to have told you before Game 7 that the Bruins would score the first 3 and Philadelphia would score the next 3, you would have told me that I was out of my mind.
Third period still tied the Bees with a chance, but it just wasn't in the cards.
Shatan to Lucic, the wrist shot off the post!
You hope that chance like that, puck can find some eyes, but we can get a little luck on our side in these last 4 games, and just didn't happen. And right there is indication of how things went for us in the last couple of games here.
After the tough luck post, the Bruins are whistled for a too many men on the ice penalty.
That's 6 Bruins on the ice at one time. That's too many men.
A bench minor penalty like that in Game 7 of the Eastern Conference Finals is obviously very difficult to endure, and the Bruins were not shy about voicing their displeasure for the call.
I think it's a terrible call, but 3-3 series, Game 7, you don't make that call. So.
Did you see the play?
Yeah, it was a terrible call.
The Bruins killed penalties with 92% efficiency during the postseason, but they didn't do it when it counted most.
It's in front, loose puck, Gagne scores! Philadelphia, for the first time in the series, has history on
thought we could beat Philly, and probably after 3-0 lead, everybody else thought the same way, but somehow they find a way to get it back, and they deserve the credit.
A microcosm of the series, irony. Use whatever adjective you want to describe how the Bruins ended up on the wrong side of history in this Eastern Conference semifinal. One thing's for certain, it's going to be a long summer for the boys in black and gold. Reporting from the TD Garden in Boston, Tony Gugliotta, Channel 3 Sports. Imagine this. It's a beautiful spring afternoon in Vermont, and you're taking a nice leisurely jog down a wooded trail. Now imagine coming face to face with a joust-wielding gladiator who would like nothing more than to make your day a lot less enjoyable. This is only one of the many obstacles that became a reality and ran over 450 athletes ragged in the first ever Spartan race held at Williston's Catamount Outdoor Center over the weekend.
I have to tell you, I am so impressed with the turnout. It's just an amazing day.
The amazingly unique race course offers competitors a variety of challenges, testing their endurance and their resilience under the most extreme conditions.
This thing hits you from like every other direction. I mean, swimming and running and biking, you can kind of peg where your workout's gonna hit you. This is just like full body, like brutalization.
I think we almost drowned in the first quarter of a mile of it, so it was a nice way to start off the race.
It's all about that. On a course like this, it's really pick your own poison, whether it's trying to scale a 12-foot-high Crisco-covered slippery wall or slopping their way across a mud-soaked pond. These athletes are challenged by any number of extreme elements comprising this trail.
I didn't expect going underwater. I was kind of surprised about hitting the water. Got kicked in the head a few times trying to get across, but that was probably the most challenging part.
The toughest part for me was all the running around in the mud.
Definitely the pond. It was really deep, it was really cold.
Though the athletes differ in their opinions on what's the most difficult barrier to overcome, they share one universal feeling, a sense of accomplishment unmatched by any other physical conquest.
Well, when I looked online, I saw a few that I didn't think I'd make it, and I actually did them and feel really good about it. And I did it twice.
To me, this is like recess for adults. It's way better than I really enjoyed it much better than a 5K race, because there's all these challenges just keep you on your toes, and it's a lot of fun getting to do something different.
Whatever background you're from, whether you're an athlete, whether you're a mother, whatever your background is, you can do Spartan race.
She outran me for sure, but it was great knowing she was at the end waiting, and
I cheered her on when she was finishing, so it was worth it.
She's tough.
Tough enough to forever call herself a Spartan. Tony Gugliotta, Channel 3 Spotlight on Sports. Welcome back. A night before the high school sports season breaks for the holidays, we are treated with a full slate of great matchups, the most intriguing of which has to be a rematch of last year's Division I boys state title game as Burlington visits Rice. The Knights open up on a 5-0 run when freshman Casey Tipson buries the three from the wing. On the other end, Burlington works it underneath to senior Dan Daly. He gets the bucket. And more horses now. The man going to Holy Cross, Joe O'Shea from deep. Got it. The senior star showing some range, and he isn't done. But Rice is feisty. Jake Maynard will take it all the way to the rack and lay it in, but I promised you'd see him again. The fans calling for him. O'Shea sent off and running. He takes it to the rim for the basket and one. Burlington wins 54-41. The Burlington girls have a big game of their own as they host the team that has given them their only loss of the season, the Rutland Raiders. It's a close one in the second half. Burlington's Brittany Robertson with the triple to give the horses some breathing room. But back comes Rutland. Elizabeth Douglas drives inside, gets it to go, and draws the hack. On the other end, Hannah Semplever tough in the paint. That's going to go Burlington with some revenge, 52-38. Let's head over to Colchester as the Lakers host Middlebury. Middlebury running. Katie Ritter is going to split two defenders and take it to the hoop for the bucket and the foul. The Lakers give it to a cutting Rachel Seaman on the other end, who gets the hometown bounce for the field goal. But Middlebury way too tough in this one. Ritter with the long pass to Tiffany Audette for the hoop. Middlebury rolls 58-38. The Boston Celtics are off until Christmas Day, when they will tangle with Eastern Conference rival the Orlando Magic. But they will be doing so without the services of Captain Paul Pierce. Number 34 will miss 2 weeks after having minor surgery to drain fluid out of his right knee this morning. Pierce appeared to injure his knee during Sunday's win over Minnesota, but it didn't stop him from playing last night and contributing 21 points in a winning effort against Indiana. The Seas went to their D-League affiliate, the Maine Red Claws, and called up Bill Walker to replace Pierce on the roster. Well, a glaring injury plaguing the Bruins roster is that of Milan Lucic. The rugged winger has been sidelined since November 25th with a high ankle sprain, but he is hopeful to be back on the ice in time for the Winter Classic against Philadelphia at Fenway Park on New Year's Day. And wouldn't that be cool? His mates hit the ice tonight at home against Atlanta. The Bees open things up on the power play. Zdeno Chara feeds deep to Mark Savard. He waits before he tucks it under the crossbar to 1-0 Boston. Just 48 seconds later, Mark Recchi feeds a wide open Daniel Paille on the doorstep for the redirection, and the Bruins lead 2-0. 20 seconds after that, Bees in transition. Sean Thornton sends it across to Vladimir Sobotka for the score. It's 3-0 Bruins with all 3 goals coming in 1 minute and 8 seconds. The Thrashers cut the lead to 3-2, but in the second period, the Bees with a 2-man advantage. Chara's shot goes off, a defender's sticking in. It's 4-2 Bruins. Boston holds off a late charge and will win 6-4. The Canadiens visiting Carolina. Thomas Plekanec with the feed to Andrei Markov in the power play. It's 1-0 Habs. 2 minutes later, goals coming quickly today. Mike Camilleri jumps on the loose puck and finds Andrei Kostitsyn for the goal. That makes it 2-0. It's a 1-goal game now when Andrei's brother gets himself on the score sheet. Sergei Kostitsyn redirects this one through the wickets, and the Habs take a 3-1 lead. And still in the first, former Bruin Glenn Metropolitan with the blast, and it's a 4-1 game. The Grinch in the house, and he's dancing. The Canadiens beat up the Canes 5-1. Darren, I know you have a costume like that.